Hey friends, sensitive subject matter ahead.
If you at all feel triggered, please reach out to family, friends, or crisis hotlines. You can also find crisis hotline numbers in the description box of this episode.
Okay. And we're here.
We're back.
Yes, we are. This is...
Oh!
We're on one.
Okay, ready? Can
I
just
say
one
thing.
with...
That's Demi.
That's Jess. Boom!
We are here to entertain.
And we did it. Goodbye.
Done.
Silence! Okay, well, this is our final episode for our first book.
Yes.
And it's Halloween, which is why we have creepy background music.
I know, it's Halloween.
Ba-da-da.
Love it. I think this was the perfect book to do for Halloween.
It really hit all the most appropriate areas.
Yeah.
That's
True.
what she said. Yeah, so it's, wow, what a wild ride it's been.
Yes, it has ups and downs and all around.
And all around.
Yep.
Creepies and crawlies named D'Angelo Vickers. Oh, Joseph James D'Angelo.
Sorry. Who's the guy?
Will
Ferrell.
Not sorry. Yeah.
But before we get into that,
We've got lots of stuff to cover, you guys.
we do. We also have some shout outs because
Oh, yeah.
my dad.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
He sent us mugs, like huge mugs, with our logo on them. It was a surprise.
It was the nicest, most thoughtful gift.
It was, and I totally cried.
I
Not just
cried.
cried, I bawled.
You did?
Yeah, when I was on the phone with him
Oh,
telling him
good.
thank you, I just completely broke down, and he was
Aw.
just like, "Don't cry, you're gonna make me cry." He's not gonna cry, but trying to make me feel better.
Spiritually, he'll cry.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just really thoughtful and sweet, and thanks, Dad. I know you're
Thank
probably
you.
listening. So
Thanks for always listening, Dad.
yeah.
And my dad listens. Hi, Dad.
Oh, yay! Supportive family. I like it.
I also have a shout out too.
You do?
Uh-huh. I want to shout out to our listeners in Sweden and the UK.
I know.
We have, I think I saw 4 or 5 listeners
Right.
in those parts.
Yeah.
And that's super exciting.
Yep,
we
I
want to
know.
know who you are.
Well, one I know for sure.
One for sure.
My friend Stitch. Hi, Stitch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's such a cool name.
Yep. Well, it's her nickname, her
Got
camp
it.
name.
Got it.
So when I was 2013, before I moved to Sacramento, I was a camp counselor at a place in Germany, and I met her there just really quickly, and we hung out like once really while we were there. But it wasn't until my friend Strawberry got married, another camp name, and that's when we
Just hit it off.
hit it off, and we text like every single week, and it's fun to
Yay,
keep.
that's so
So
good.
she's listening.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
But if you are in Sweden or the UK, shoot us an email and let us know how you found out. And yeah, shout out to you. Thanks for listening.
That was
That's
so
nice.
cool to see.
I know.
Because you can see, like, through the place that we post, you can see geographically.
We upgraded.
Yeah, we upgraded
We
finally.
were forced to upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's nice.
that was really, really cool. Oh, I also, do you have any more shout outs?
Not any shout outs. I just want to recap how great my week was.
Oh my god, please.
The best
Please.
week. So I got the computer, which was nice. We have a new computer. We were using Demi's boyfriend's computer.
Yeah, thanks, babe.
But now we have our own.
Yeah.
Also, just to
You
have a computer.
have your own.
Well, we're using it for this, but also I haven't had
We
a
as a
personal.
couple do have a new computer.
I hadn't had one in the last 5-6 years, so it's nice to have a personal computer no matter what. And then the whole thing with my dad. And I had lunch with a friend on Friday. She used to work as a receptionist, and it just put me in the best mood the whole entire time.
I love
and
that.
I know, it was really nice. So
good to catch up.
yeah, so it's been a good week. I don't know.
I know, on
everything
Friday
was-
you were very, very happy and positive. And that also could have been because we were anticipating winning the lottery.
That's true.
But I think what happened and why we didn't win is because like, the universe was like, ladies, look, it's not big enough yet, and I know that you deserve more. So I'm gonna make it $2 billion by Tuesday, then you can win.
Yeah.
I'm really speaking it out. I'm doing the secret thing.
Yeah.
Look, it's not like I hope I win. I am winning the lottery in some way, shape, or form. It will be mine.
Yeah, and she put it in her calendar.
I missed my appointment on Friday. Didn't win it on Friday. But nobody won, so.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, you just have to reschedule, put it in your calendar.
I know,
for
I'm
Tuesday.
rescheduled for Tuesday. Yeah, that's when I plan on winning.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's so cool.
We will maybe see you.
Yeah, you know, if you don't hear from us in November, it's because I'm on my own island. Yeah. Tatum said, if we win the lottery, can we buy Target?
You know what? Yes, though. Yeah.
No.
I'll just live in a Target.
I was like, no, we cannot.
I love how obsessed she is with Target. I am equally obsessed, with Target.
Very, very similar situations.
Yes. What else? It sounds like you had something.
I it's not even a correction, it's just I finally remembered last week when I was talking about your natural brain and like what that's called.
Yes.
It's your reptilian brain.
Right. That's right.
So it's just your, like, I don't know, your intuition and the gut feelings, those are all caused from millions of years of experience of fight or flight situations.
Speaking of reptilian brain, have you seen the picture that's of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? So, like a body, somebody that, like, looks at body language and interprets it and stuff like that. So there's this really steamy picture. It's not steamy at all. It's so, like,
they're
cute.
Like holding hands.
So they're sitting down at the beach in Australia, and he has his hand on her thigh, but not the thigh closest to him, the thigh that is the farthest away because she's pregnant, and a body, like somebody that
he's blocking and protecting the baby.
Without even realizing it.
Stop it, that's so cute.
And not only that, I mean, it was kind of a steamy picture, because not only was his hand on her upper thigh, and she was cradling his arm. It was. Go look it up, friends. Maybe we'll even post it on Instagram.
Hot royal goss over here.
I know. Yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for that relationship.
They're so adorable.
I know.
And can I brag real quick?
Yes.
My brother's fiance looks like Meghan Markle.
I know
so
she
I'm
does.
Like practically related to Meghan Markle.
She looks so much like
almost.
Meghan Markle.
It's crazy.
I know. You have the same smile and everything.
Stunning.
I know.
Hi, Sam.
Yes. You're beautiful.
You're so beautiful. We love you. And that's all I have for corrections.
Yeah. I don't even think I have any.
No, because we didn't mess up anything.
No, we were perfect. I wish.
Actually, I do still have some fun facts for you.
Tell me.
Okay. So my friend Nico started listening to the podcast last week and was just texting me all about it. And
also, shout out to her because she was being very supportive. Yeah.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Micah. So Nico listened to our first episode when we were kind of talking about how we both worked at Chicago Fire, and you were kind of giving us your background of, moving here and stuff. So Nico said that you guys are twins.
Really?
So Nico also moved to Sacramento in the summer of 2013.
What?
She started at Chicago Fire 2 weeks later.
What?
And she also dislikes pineapple on her pizza.
Twinsies. That is too
I thought that was really cute.
That's like really similar.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where'd she move from though? Do you know?
Oh my gosh, I know where she's from. I'm totally blanking. I don't think it's not Missouri.
Oh,
I think it is Missouri.
Oh, like not even California.
Let me know. Yeah. Shoot me an email. Shoot me a text message. Yeah.
We only email now.
if it's business. yeah, but I think, so that was cute. And then also, we are recording a week in advance, so technically it's not Halloween yet.
You're right.
But my murder is coming to Sacramento on Friday the 26th, and we are going to the show, and we're very excited. So I wrote this I was so proud of myself. I was like, while anticipating My Favorite Murder's arrival to Sacramento, Jess and I wanted to get more involved. We are in the works of collaborating with a local spot after the show to help raise awareness and money to donate to End the Backlog. So for those of you who don't know, End the Backlog is an organization that
helps sexual assault victims.
Right, yeah, it helps sexual assault victims who have like rape kits that go untested for years and years and years. And so this organization advocates for getting those things tested and getting crazy people off the streets, getting
and
rapists,
closure for people.
Closure, so many things, so much positivity. So while I was doing some research on the site, just to like make sure we cover all our bases and know a lot if people ask us questions, I found these articles that they linked up.
Yeah.
And there's actually an article that discusses the Golden State Killer case.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
That is so crazy.
And so it's from the Alameda County DA, and she actually took calls, like 911 calls from victims of the attacks back in the 1970s.
Wow.
So her name is, I don't remember her first name, but her last name is O'Malley, the district attorney, and she's a huge advocate for ending the backlog, and she's quoted saying, "If this case does not prove that we should test every rape kit, there is no other case that drives that home." And then, fun fact.
Tell me.
The Wednesday that D'Angelo was identified was National DNA Day.
I remember that. I forgot about that, though.
Oh my gosh, I read that and I was just like,
yes.
How?
Yes.
How do the stars align in that way?
Wow.
That's so
beautiful.
incredible.
Poetic. I love it.
I love that.
But
yeah,
really amazing.
So also for
if you're interested too in donating to end the backlog, Mariska Hargitay from Law and Order SVU is the one that actually started this whole site and organization. So I mean, it's a great way to support. Sexual assault victims. So, and speaking of sexual assault, yesterday it was really nice, and I kind of talked to you about this already. I was just talking with my boyfriend about like why women are afraid all the time and experiences that I've had, and he just had no idea stuff that I've gone through and stuff, you know, my friends and family have gone through. It just was such a positive talk. He just was so understanding and wanted to listen.
That's all you can do.
Exactly.
Is share your story, you know, just be open and vocal, and it's helpful when people are open to listening and don't just make a quick judgment and say that's not true, you're wrong. Yeah. Because how would you know? You know, you haven't gone through the things I've gone through. You don't experience the things I experience. Right.
And I'm very fortunate. I've had very minor experiences, you know. So just,
but we were even saying today, like, most women have a story.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Not all women will be raped, but all women will, in some ways, have a scary situation. And all we can do is talk and
learn from it, and men can learn from it too. Women can as well.
Can learn. Yeah. No, it's everything is a learning situation.
Yeah. Communicate and listen to each other is such a big,
and respect each other.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we plan on being at Zebra Club in Sacramento at after the show on Friday the 26th from 10 to 12, and hopefully raise a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll report back and see how much we actually get to raise.
I hope we do well.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, maybe we can try to like advertise a little bit for it too.
Totally. You've already posted on the Facebook page, and we'll post some stuff on the gram.
Exactly.
So she needs.
Yeah, she needs. Yeah.
So yeah. And that's all I really have to say.
So, also, cheers before we get into the book. That's not a very good one.
Hold on.
No. It's because I'm drinking out of a can.
I'm drinking out of a glass.
Yeah.
And that's why that sounded that way.
This week it's beer. It's beer, and it is very hoppy.
Very intense.
Yeah. Which is good that we're only drinking half of it each.
Yeah.
So.
Oof. It's like a challenge almost. It's like a dare. Yeah. I'm gonna do it for some red wine.
I know, me too.
Yeah. Very into that.
Which I forgot to bring, by the way. I had a Halloween themed wine. I can always go and get it. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So last week we talked about a lot about Paul Holes and
it was him and Michelle.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much touring
some of the
Northern California areas.
Exactly.
And just their dialogue and things that they were learning from each other.
Yep.
Was so great.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And how they're definitely thinking that maybe the Golden State Killer might have been scared out of Sacramento. Mm-hmm. Although Paul Holes didn't think that.
No.
Yeah.
No. He thought that he had moved.
Right.
And that's what brought him down. Maybe he was spooked a little bit.
I'm sure.
But,
yeah, I think so, for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then we stopped.
And start right in the chapter called The One on 261.
I loved this chapter.
It was interesting.
It was so interesting, intriguing, and I loved that it was several people that they were so convinced was the one.
I think I counted 4 different people.
Was it 4? Okay.
I think so.
I thought it was like, 3 or 4.
Yeah. So what did you think about, so there's a guy.
Walter? Or
Walther.
Walther, yeah.
Well, it's a pseudonym, right? I thought it was. Oh, yeah, it is. Jim Walters. So I thought, so when they kind of like say that they found him parked on the side of the highway, kind of close to one of the attacks, my first initial thought was, he seems stupid. That couldn't be him. He would, because if you fall asleep on the side of the road, close to an attack, I mean, yeah, you might be tired or something, but I was kind of like, he seems a little too dumb to be.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many things that they were pointing out about, like, he already had a history.
Right. I still think he's guilty of something,
probably.
Totally.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I made a note.
I just think that he might not have been, it doesn't, obviously he's not, it's been proven that he's not the East Area Rapist or the Golden State Killer. I just was like, doesn't sound very smart to me, like some of the mistakes that he made.
Sure.
But I did have this theory. What, you know how some people reported that he might have had an accomplice? What if he was the accomplice? Because they were saying, like, he was kind of in the footsteps. He was kind of doing similar things as the East Area Rapist.
Yes.
And how some victims say that they might have heard somebody. What if he was the somebody?
Wow. That's a really great insight.
Thanks.
Oh, creepy.
Creepy.
Crawly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
But they should have definitely, I hope that they kept tabs on him.
Oh, for sure.
Because very many red flags were raised with, I don't know, he just seemed like a bad person.
Oh, absolutely.
Very bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then the next person they were accusing
was Ron Greer.
Right.
And it sounds like he even had a murder kit when they pulled him over and they found the large zip bags inside the bag, or zipper bags, and inside the bag they found handgun and a hunting knife.
Yes, he was in the vicinity of, I think
he was.
Of several attacks. He was pulled over.
Exactly.
Because he fit that description.
Yep.
So I'm reading this and I'm like, well, first of all, even if it wasn't him, why do you even have those things? Well, you clearly have ulterior motives for later. Just because you're not the East Area Rapist doesn't mean you're not guilty.
Doing something.
Yeah. You're a bad guy too. Ugh, just creepy.
But the thing with that, the only thing I'm going to say with that, though, is that, like, maybe not in Sacramento, but, like, in other parts of the country, like Colorado, Texas, Arizona, people have guns and knives and
that
stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But not when they're tucked away and packaged up and, like, hidden. No. That's creepy. With the mask, too. He had a mask.
Exactly, yeah.
No. And then when they had him, they brought him in for questioning, and he wouldn't smoke cigarettes, he wouldn't drink water, he wouldn't leave fingerprints on anything. So he was like, I'm not. I mean, maybe he's been through the system and he kind of knows that if I, give up something, they can link me up to something else.
Right.
Like,
I'm sure that's what he's thinking. Absolutely.
Don't like him. Got a bad feeling about that one.
And then just going on from that, when they thought that there might be somebody that had passed away that was over on the East Coast. Where was that?
I just saw it. Baltimore?
Right.
Was it?
Baltimore. Yep.
Great.
Baltimore. No wonder the Baltimore. Anyway, so Baltimore. And and they brought back the femur and parts of the flesh in a dry ice box, checked it in at the airport.
It's disgusting.
That is crazy.
What year was that? 1997?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just...
Well, I mean, pre 9/11.
Totally, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure if you're working, you know...
If you're a detective, you have appropriate badges and...
Yeah.
But still carrying a femur onto a plane.
Yeah, well, they checked it in the airport.
Ugh,
but still, it doesn't matter. And the fact that it wasn't even him, could you imagine, like, doing all of that, going and digging up a body? This is, like...
Oh, and that's
they
what
were saying
the smell.
The smell and how crazy it was to... It didn't happen to dig up bodies of suspects. It was always digging up bodies of people that have passed away to get closure and figure out how they were, you know, murdered and stuff. But, yeah, super crazy.
Yeah. And then they move on. So this is number 4.
4.
Doug Fiedler.
Exactly.
Had to be the one. I love that she starts all of them like that, too. Because
yeah.
everybody thinks that when you're reading mystery books, you're like, oh, this guy's it for sure.
Yep.
And you are so convinced, pretty much based on nothing, and you're like, nope, that's it.
That's it.
I love that she
Which
does
is
that.
why it's so important that everybody, of course, follows through on all this stuff. You know, I mean, so many people are wrongly convicted all the time.
Oh, and this is when Michelle starts bringing up, like, genealogy websites. After this, she mentions it throughout, like, for the rest of the book. It's on every page.
So smart. So smart. And how she would, like, put in his genetic markers to see if something would pop up. But did you notice, so it says that somebody mentioned that maybe the East Area rapist might have had a tattoo of like a bull or something like that. I did look it up for Joseph James D'Angelo, and it doesn't seem like he has one. But I mean, at the same time...
But it's a little kid that saw it, yeah?
It was saying that it was under hypnosis, a young girl said that. So you can't really totally... I mean, I'm sure it does help doing the whole hypnosis thing, getting out certain things, but if you're under that and you're not really sure, you know, if you're, you know, I'm sure it's easy to put things on people, right?
Exactly. At the bottom of 270, when it's still Doug Fiedler, and how Michelle is running his name through Google, and she finds a story about the 19-year-old boy hit on the head with a frying pan and stabbed to death by his younger half-brother. The younger brother was Doug Fiedler. Bludgeoning knife. The East Area rapist did a lot of strange things during the commission of his crimes, and those occasional plaintive calls amid the sobs, "Mommy, mommy."
Yeah.
Turns out to be Bonnie, Bonnie, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he did say mommy once in a while, though, you know what I mean? Like...
I don't know.
Yeah, don't know for certain. Yeah. Demi, you know what I forgot to talk about?
No.
Okay, just speaking of last week, when you said about the intuition thing.
Yeah.
So last week, when we talked about the whole understanding your intuition and, like, don't put it to the side or anything like that, I came home and... After recording that episode, I came home and my front door was unlocked. And it takes a lot of effort to unlock the front door, because it's not a normal lock. You have to put effort into unlocking it.
It's always locked.
Always,
though.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, you have to unlock it.
Right.
To be unlocked. Like, if you shut the door right behind you, it's going to lock. So you always have to have your key with you. And so I did put my key in the door, but when I shut it, I didn't hear the clang that it was supposed to make. And when I went to look, I was like, holy crap, my door is unlocked. And we had people over that morning. My boyfriend had people over. So my bedroom door was shut and the back bedroom door was shut. Both of those are never shut, but because we had people over, we shut them so people don't see into the rooms.
You know for sure you did that.
Yeah, And so my boyfriend was at a concert. I couldn't get a hold of him because there was no service, and I texted him. And so for some reason I wasn't afraid to go into my bedroom to check because I knew I shut that door. But I brought, like, a stainless steel water bottle so that way I can whack somebody over the head if I needed to.
Yeah.
So that one was fine, but I was super afraid to go into the back bedroom. So we have a door that separates the back bedroom and the living room area, and so I closed that shut, and I was like, no, I just need to go check because it's going to be peace of mind.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get a hold of my boyfriend, so I called Demi, And I was like, hey girl, so my front door was unlocked. And you were like, shut up, no way.
It's just so wild because that's actually exactly what we were just talking about when that couple came home.
Exactly.
And they said, that's weird. The front door is unlocked and this door is closed, which it never is.
Right.
Let's go to bed anyway.
Right.
Not victim blaming, just saying.
That, we had just talked about that.
And then we were also saying, if something feels weird,
to check
recognize
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, own that.
So I told her, I was like, hey, can you just stay on the phone with me? So if something happens, you can like call 911 for me. And of course, you're like, yes, absolutely. So I took my stainless steel water bottle in. And I opened the door, and nothing was there. Thank goodness, obviously, I'm here. But
yeah, this is not Jess.
And yeah, this is not me. It's a ghost now. But yeah, I mean, the back door was locked, thank goodness, and stuff too. But I still was so frightened. I'm like, well, what if they're hiding somewhere? Even though I checked every single place, you know. And thankfully, my boyfriend got the messages and came home and stuff like that. Turns out one of our friends that had come over that day went outside, and he used to live there, so he knew how to unlock the door.
And just did it.
And just did it. And they forgot to check when they left.
Oh, gosh. So. The timing was too coincidental.
Creepy.
Too spot on to ignore that.
Exactly.
It's like, you keep talking about intuition, let's test yours.
Yeah. Exactly. And was it tested? I was freaked out.
So
I was sweating. Yeah. So always go back. Anyway, just had to say that
Listen
story.
to that gut.
Yeah.
Call someone.
And now we're going into Los Angeles 2014.
Los Angeles, yes. So
super short chapter.
It was very short. This is
kind of personal for her own life, but it was how she's constantly thinking about this case. It consumes everything. Right. It's all consuming. And I can't even, I do get obsessed with true crime, but I can't even relate to that level of obsession.
No.
Yeah.
So just reading this, and this is just kind of some dialogue between her and Patton, and just a touch on their relationship and how supportive he was.
So supportive.
I was just like blown away because he's so sweet, even if he didn't understand to what extent that she loved true crime. That was her job pretty much, and he was so understanding, and he knew it was her thing, and he tried to be there as much as he could, like and without being her like partner in it, you know, because I know that he says, I think it's later on, Patton he writes his own little chapter and goes into how he also and he also enjoys true crime. Yeah. Not to the extent of Michelle. Right.
And he also did it, we'll talk about it later too, but he also did it to be edgy and cool.
Sure. Yeah,
which is so cute. But it's so sweet that so many of these gifts that he got her were kind of like based around true crime and like her obsession.
But specifically Golden State Killer.
Yeah. Which is so thoughtful. I mean, do you remember that one book that I got you that was about
all the murders? Yeah,
but like weird stuff, like how
it was all based
crazy
in the
crimes.
UK.
Oh, it was based in the UK? Yeah. I got that for somebody else too. So just like thinking of gifts that like relate and interest other people, I'm just like, I love that so much.
I wrote, I was like, maybe I'm PMSing, but oh my god, real life love is so beautiful. When she said, sometimes when he's standing there at the sink doing the dishes, I notice his lips moving, but there's no sound. What are you doing there? I asked him once. Working out a joke, starting it over, making it better, doing it again. And it's just like,
that's so I
don't know
cute.
why that just touches my heart.
Yeah, it's her noticing something about him that's...
Yes, and it's just so matter of fact, like, working on a joke. Like, that's my thing, this is what I'm doing, this is my process. And they just respected each other's processes.
I loved that, yeah.
Ugh, beautiful.
For sure.
So beautiful. I loved this nice little chapter.
I know.
But she didn't get him a card. And he got, like, this super thoughtful gift.
Yeah, he got her the super thoughtful gift, and she's like, oh yeah, I totally forgot to even get him a card.
Yeah. So great.
Super duper cute.
So...
Right after that...
We're in Sacramento 2014, next chapter. And now she brings back Walter's background and family and
how much it really relates to the East Area rapist.
Right. Maybe this was just to throw someone off, maybe one of the victims, but they're talking about how Walther was in a bad car accident, and there were scars left on his face.
Yeah.
And so then it comes out later that the EAR also mentioned that something happened to my face, which is another reason they thought this could be him. But I don't remember ever hearing that about the East Area Rapist, and there isn't anything wrong with his face.
I think that's definitely something
his face, but
yeah, being a rapist's murderous face. Yeah. I think that it probably just to throw him off, because we talked about last week about him after he was raping somebody, talking about how I saw you at prom and I knew I had to have you.
Like, I saw you at the lake in the boat.
Yeah, it was just like stuff that he would throw out. I think that's what I feel, you know. So I don't know for sure, but again, it doesn't look like anything was wrong with his face. It was probably just to confuse people.
Okay.
Because
that's what I was thinking.
What would you think? Sure. Exactly, like when you are looking for somebody and somebody has reported that he said his face was messed up.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna look for somebody with a scar.
So smart.
It really, again, I hate that he was so smart. Yeah.
And then another thing that I noticed, I'm still on the first page of this chapter, Sacramento 2014. Mm-hmm. Walther and D'Angelo have such parallel lives.
Truthfully.
There's so many similarities. Mm-hmm. Like, even them, like, taking jobs in certain areas and being in the same places, like,
that's
very
why maybe
parallel.
He was an accomplice, potentially.
Could have been. Yeah. Really.
Potentially. I don't know. We might find out more soon when they finally release more information. Which, by the way, how I told you about how Paul Holes wrote a book with 2 other detectives. It's only going to be on Audible.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Yeah, it's going to be available on November 15th. Not sponsored, but I'm going to sponsor everything Paul Holes does.
Yeah, represent.
It's called Evil Has a Name. I think.
Yes, I believe you're right.
Yeah, so it's only going to be on Audible, and I cannot wait to listen to the crap out of that. So maybe and it says never before heard stuff about the Golden State Killer, so we're going to hopefully learn a lot more.
I know. Oh my God.
Answer questions, all my burning questions. Why was he in Southern California at all?
Why? It must have been a job. You can't drive down for 8 hours just to murder somebody.
Yeah, but also one of his daughters was born down there as well.
Right. So I was probably living there, just living there for no reason, and.
But then he bought a house up here during that time too, up here in Sacramento, in Citrus Heights. I mean, again, family. There's families everywhere. You can be down there for a family.
All speculation at this point.
Yes, tell me. I need to know. Please tell me.
And then at the end of this end of the chapter, it's Paul Holes talking, and they tested Walter's DNA, and he said he wasn't the East Area Rapist, Holes said, but I tell you, he was EAR's shadow. They stared at the spot, so he's with Michelle at this point. And then Michelle asks, "You're sure that they did it right?" I asked about the DNA test. Hole paused for a fraction of a moment. "Sacramento is very, very good at what they do." And I said, "That's right."
Yeah.
We know.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul.
Isn't that the truth? He knows.
Oh, gosh. So now we're Sacramento.
1978. Yeah, these chapters are really short.
Super short.
I mean, we are nearing the end of the book. All I can say about this is the editor's note at the very end where I got super emotional and crying when they say that Michelle died on April 21st. 2016.
Also, there's when she says, she's like just speculating.
Right.
And she says, what about California State University, Sacramento? Their academic calendar dovetails perfectly with the crimes. He never attacked during a school holiday.
That's interesting.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah. Just
to coordinate.
Because he did over 50 attacks, so it's kind of interesting that none of them did that.
Yep. So,
I don't know.
Oh, then the next one.
Oh my God, I freaked out. So now part 3, friends. Part 3. Unfortunately, Michelle has passed, but holy potatoes, friends. The kid is Paul Haynes.
I mean, what?
So Paul Haynes has been helping her this whole entire time. I mean, when I read that Paul Haynes, a.k.a. the kid, I could not help but text you. Yep.
What?
I was like, I know we're not supposed to talk about the book. I have to freak out with you.
We had to.
Yeah, that the kid who had this master list, who has put hours upon hours upon hours of research into Golden State Killer.
Insane.
And he turns out to be the one helping her write this and is collaborating with her on this whole thing. I freaked out.
Yeah.
So
it was so good.
It was so good.
So then they go after, or they start going into just after she passed.
3,500 files on her computer.
Yeah, and just trying to organize
all of her research.
The chaos, you know? And
I mean, I'm sure she was having like a disorganized mess, or an organized mess, sorry. Whereas like she knew probably where everything was. She could locate something immediately, but to have to go back to square one and organize everything, I can't even.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's so crazy.
And wasn't it 23andMe, the website?
No, GED Match or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was GEDmatch. GEDmatch.com is where they found the fourth cousin.
Right
there. But also, I just wanted to say real quick that just how this is kind of when Paul Haynes and Billy Jensen are just talking about, obviously, like we said, the person that she was and how much effort she put into there. And I just really liked this part where they talked about her talking about the victims. She wasn't like being self-righteous justice, crusading, or victims hagiography, which I had to look up, which means like idealizing subjects and stuff like that. And we had said that from the beginning, how she just made us relate to these people.
Yep.
And it does suck that sometimes we don't know more about them, but she was just telling us who they were, you know, before good and bad before, you know, before stuff had happened to them, whether they were raped or murdered. And it was, I really do love that, and I'm going to keep saying that. I love that she did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it was you. You had the psychology thing.
I said yeah.
Oh. Well, you did.
I did. Yeah, I did want to point out, too, how it talks about going into her own psychology, and she understood that she was kind of being, obsessive, you know? And just learn how to...
All of her lists. I love that they gave us just a tiny touch of her lists.
Of, of what she was going through, you mean? As the psychology?
Well, that, and even the list of things that he took from the victims, and, all the lists that she just kept on her computer, little reminders. Gotta look into this.
Yep.
Gotta do this, gotta talk to this person.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on 290, when, exactly, the ear clues, that was a file that she had, and how one of the clues, it was saying, "I hate you, Bonnie," was one of them, and it's just the whole, thing keeps coming up that he was obsessed with this, with his ex-fiancé.
Right. Oh, and then also on 290, when she's talking about one of the neighbors, Marquette, and he was the one who was in his own room and saw a prowler outside looking into his neighbors.
Right.
And he got his gun.
Right.
And spooked EAR, whoever, D'Angelo at this point, we can call him by his name. And he bugged off. Right. And then he tried to identify him, and without skipping a beat, he was a schoolboy. Yeah. He has that schoolboy feature. Right. And so I looked at his picture from younger. Right. Exactly like a such a baby face. Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. It's crazy.
The Visalia Ransacker sketches were you can see those on our Instagram post from a couple episodes ago, episode 3. Yep. And it's crazy how much of an adolescent he looks like. Yes. And he was young. Ew. It's so creepy. It's very, very creepy. Yes. I was kind of speculating how in 2 different attacks in 1977, October 1977, he was described as sobbing. And I kind of wondered, because one, we don't really know who Bonnie is, I kind of wondered, what if something happened to her? What if she had children, or maybe a death or a sickness?
She's still alive.
Oh, she is still alive?
She won't comment.
Oh, she won't. Okay, no. I didn't know who she was. I didn't look into that because I didn't want
his ex-fiancé.
Right, I didn't know what her last name was, so I didn't look into her.
Yeah, no, she's choosing to stay out of
she
it
should.
Completely. Yeah. And then I wonder. So this is at the very bottom of 291. It says something may have been going on with him in late October 1977. In two different attacks around then, he was described as sobbing.
Right, that's it. That's what I just said.
Jesus. It's because I'm like also trying to figure out why I wrote a fucking question mark.
Well, that's what I was thinking though too. Like, what maybe something happened. I mean, personal, but just because I feel like he's really only been described sobbing when either people thought they heard mommy or thought they heard Bonnie. So that's why I'm like, well, maybe she had a child, or maybe something good happened in her life, and he's not a part of that.
But
like,
when did the engagement break up?
It was early. It was like 1970 that they broke up. But he seems to still be obsessed about her because he's still like talking of her. You know what I mean? Like people have said that they heard the name Bonnie throughout the attacks.
Also, how popular were VW Bugs in the 70s? Because Ted
Bundy. Yeah.
And it's associated with him too. But I think he stole a lot of cars.
I think so too.
I don't think it was like his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's reported in like a truck and on a bike.
Van,
a bike was actually stolen.
Bikes.
Yeah, exactly. That were stolen from other properties.
Yeah. Oh, and then it kind of goes into geoprofiling, which is like when they were talking about that. On 294, I just kind of circled some stuff when they're trying to narrow down. What?
Same things.
Citrus Heights, cop, serviceman. Yeah. Oh my god, you literally circled them too. That's so funny.
Yeah, except for the serviceman one. But I know the fact that if they could put into like a Google search that had filters, what would they put? They would put all these things, and then they included Citrus Heights and the cop thing. And I'm like, holy crap, he was in Citrus Heights and he was a former cop.
Yep.
So it's like they knew, like they had everything. Every answer was literally here. They just couldn't figure it out. Like, I mean, they just didn't have enough. They just needed the DNA, and that was it.
Well, what I was going to say about the geoprofiling is, like, I don't know, maybe it's just in this case, but just when I was looking at, like, all the figures that they were doing, it's just, like, it's not, it's inconclusive, really.
Totally, yeah.
You know, there's nothing really.
They're just trying to connect the dots, and some of them aren't necessarily connecting. I thought this was interesting, though. I thought it was earlier, but the term serial killer didn't come until the late 1980s, and for some reason I thought that was earlier. I thought it was in the 70s that term came about, but just a little fun fact for people that might not have known. And on 298 she kind of talks about the attacks and stuff like that. And when they did the media blackout, I can't believe there were 8 attacks.
What is that?
That's when they're
withholding it?
From the media.
Oh my
Because they want to try to
gosh.
catch him without everybody being super frantic about it. But for 8 attacks to happen without any media outlet, that is, I mean, that wouldn't happen in today's age. Not even a freaking second.
No.
You know, Twitter, Facebook.
Totally.
Even Instagram, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just wild to me
That
to
is very
let that
wild,
many.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand, like, I can't even really understand 1 or 2, but at the same time, like, if they're trying to catch somebody without without the world going crazy, but for 8, that's a little too much.
That's very excessive. Yeah, all the triangulations and stuff, I was just like...
Yeah, there's figures here that Paul Holes tried to find a center point where he thinks that D'Angelo might have lived. Although I did look it up when he talks about when he kind of narrows down an area in this figure, it's showing that very center spot, and the house that he bought was only 5.6 miles from his center.
Right. Yeah. It's up the freeway a little bit more.
So he wasn't off. I mean, 5 miles might seem like a lot, but it's not from the area. And he didn't have that house when he did these. He must have just been living in the area, so maybe his house was in this area. He just ended up buying a house in 1980.
Of that.
That was 5.6 miles away.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Bad boy.
Yes, he
He's
is.
a bad boy.
Yes, he is. And then just going into the familial DNA is kind of what they do next on 302. And I just think it's so wild that that's how they actually caught him.
Right.
And how much, I just wonder if, I'm on 303 right now. And I'm wondering, because what they had done in 2013, Paul Holes thought he might have solved it because he thought that he got the correct DNA, and they didn't. They didn't actually find the DNA. They were putting in what they thought D'Angelo's DNA. Oh, they had D'Angelo's DNA, so they were putting into all these, ancestry type places, and they thought that they might potentially have caught him. And that was just in 2013. So I wonder when his cousin actually uploaded his DNA, because it must have been very soon, very recent, like maybe even right before they caught him,
right?
Because they have, like, I'm sure dings that go off if something's a match. You know?
Yeah, I bet. I don't know. Just again touching on Michelle's writing. So on 304, and it's in the middle of the page, and it says the first generation of detectives who worked on the case. That whole little segment right there, I was just like, this does not feel like a reality. This feels like I'm reading a Dean Koontz novel. Like, this is like my own mystery book. Like, the EAR was looking back at them, smirking from a door half closed. Like, come on. Get out of here with your great writing.
I know.
Come on, girl.
Doing her thing.
Rocking it hard.
Seriously.
Yeah. So then just this whole bit goes just really deep into DNA and back and forth between, like, the genealogy thing.
Right.
And you can just tell that, so on 309, you can tell this is exactly what she thinks is going to solve it.
I know.
Yeah.
I marked the same exact spot.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did she say?
If we could submit the killer's actual genetic material as opposed to only select markers to one of these databases, the odds are great that we would find a second or third cousin, and that person would lead investigators to the killer's identity. Fourth freaking cousin.
Yep.
She knew.
I know.
mean, this is insane.
Yeah.
She knew. They all knew. I mean, this is also Paul Haynes and Billy Jensen writing now for her, but it's just like, that's so crazy that that's really how they ended up finding and arresting somebody.
Yep.
I just really appreciated this too, kind of jumping ahead. I mean, it just shows how pure of heart Michelle was, and honestly, any of these amateur sleuths that were working on it, how they really didn't care who solved it. Yeah,
totally.
You might want to be the one to solve it, but if it was just solved, and that's why I really, for people that put their heart and their soul into this stuff,
I know.
It just really, it's good.
All
there are
these
good people out there.
Yes, all the little thing, like, don't forget this, and what about this, and have you ever thought of this? Like,
Collaborating
is so important.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because from the beginning, even the police departments weren't collaborating. So the fact that people are learning from that, and it's just like, hey, we need to talk more. We need to make sure that everybody's aware of all the facts, so we can find out who did these heinous crimes.
Yeah. And then they sign off at the end. Like, did you have more to add there? Because then...
Just I got one part that was teary-eyed that, so that Michelle sent files over to Paul, and they said, the email ended with, Paul Holson said, that I'll talk to you soon. She signed Michelle, and he downloaded those files. She sent after I downloaded those files. She sent after I found out about her passing Friday night. She was still helping me. And I'm that is so sad.
I know.
And she was such a help, even if she doesn't.
And it was cool to hear how she was respected by detectives and, like,
all of the
police
law
department.
enforcement.
Yeah, that they didn't were just like, you're just
you're
a voyeur, you're just nosy. It's like, no, she was, like, true.
Yeah.
Through and through, like, wanting to be of assistance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No
really
glory,
cool.
all help.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then the afterword by Patton Oswalt.
Oh, so good.
Break my heart into a million pieces, Patton Oswalt, with your beautiful words about your wife. Yeah.
That bit about Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even need to recap the whole thing. It was just him kind of talking about her, but yeah, the bit about Christmas. You want to say it?
No, I can't.
I know. Might start bawling. This past Christmas, Alice, our daughter, opened a present that Santa had left her. She was happy, unwrapping her little digital camera and messing around with the settings. Fun gift. Happy holiday, sweetie. Later that morning, she asked, out of the blue, Daddy, why do you and Santa Claus have the same handwriting? Michelle Eileen McNamara is gone, but she left behind a detective and a mystery.
It's so cute.
I know.
Oof. Okay.
Demi and I are sitting
Everyone
across each other.
Listen to us cry. It's so cute.
You know, we make really cute. My eyes turn very green when I cry. So.
They're beautiful. And I'm gonna just spit all over the place. Letter to the Old Man was so
Good.
so great.
I know.
I'm not done crying. You thought. I just got started.
Yeah. There's more crying. Okay, so I thought that I had read the whole thing via Twitter and all that stuff. Turns out I haven't because I never finished the book before. It was just the last paragraph, the last few paragraphs that I had read.
I was thinking.
Thank goodness.
I was thinking when you said that because I was like,
that's a lot of pages.
That's a lot to post. I don't think that's...
Yeah. No, it wasn't, and I'm happy it wasn't, because then I actually got to read the full thing. So, and, again, her writing. So
just the
freaking
last
poetic.
3 sentences. Open the door, show us your face, walk into the light.
Yep. And how it even says, like, and a lot of people pointed this out when they arrested D'Angelo, is that, you know, somebody's going to walk up to your front door, you know, they're going to ring the doorbell, and
ask
then...
if you have a pot roast in
Yeah.
I'm not done crying.
I know. I feel you, girl.
That really got me the other morning when I was finishing up reading. I was just like, okay.
Yep.
I guess I'm crying now.
Yep. Instantaneous tears.
It just slapped me in the face.
Yeah. It was good. And then the book's done.
Yeah.
Literally done. And we know who they arrested. Obviously, we've been talking about his name. But, like, how great is that? Like, at first I was like, why am I going to read it? You know, I mean, I want to pay respects to her and all that stuff. But, like, why am I going to read it? I know they got the suspect or whatever. But I'm happy. The last few sections, these last couple episodes that we've done, it's the stuff I didn't read.
So exciting.
It has been, and I hope you enjoyed the ride with us.
I know.
And hopefully we recapped it enough for you if you didn't read the book. But if you are interested, obviously highly recommend. Maybe you can take some of these pointers and put them to your own.
Right.
Like, be sleuths and detectives for people that are missing in your area. And,
yeah,
you know?
and even though Michelle is not with us, I just, like, I want to say thank you for keeping this relevant.
So relevant.
Because, of course, they weren't just going to let the case go cold and not do anything. Like, people still definitely cared. She kept people caring, though.
Yeah,
it's
she did.
so clear through her writing and through what people say about her. She was not going to stop.
No,
and
she would have never.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I really do.
Yes. And I kind of want to read, they talk about in this book quite often her online true crime diaries. She had that blog.
Check it out.
And I really want to check it out because I love reading her words. So it'd be nice. Obviously, you know, I'm sure it's a lot that's in the book as well, but maybe not. If you want to further anything about the Golden State Killer, there are definitely some places to go. My Favorite Murder is one of our favorite podcasts, and their first ever episode, Karen discusses the East Area Rapist, and then Criminology, I've obviously mentioned in episodes past, has a whole season on it, season 2. Case Files, case number 53, is a 5-part series, and then they actually have 2 bonus episodes that are interviews, and then an extra bonus after they arrested the East Area Rapist.
Right.
Did another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all case 53.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I have listened to in the past. That's how I even found out about.
I still need to listen to the one you recommended, Criminology.
Yeah, and I haven't even finished it yet, too. Because it's a whole, season. It's numerous episodes, so. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's us closing the book on I'll Be Gone in the Dark. And now
we have a new book.
We have a new book, you guys.
Yes.
It is not true crime, but it is one of our favorite
ever authors. Oh, I love her so much.
It's Kristen Hanna.
Yes, if you have read The Nightingale or The Great Alone,
or literally any of her other books.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read, those are the only two that I have read, and I love them so much.
Favorite. Like, I still consistently think of those books.
Me too. Yes. The Nightingale and The Handmaid's Tale, which is by Margaret Atwood, my other favorite author, those are my two favorite books of all time.
Really?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So that's why I'm like, ooh, we have to read her by Kristen Hanna, because she doesn't disappoint. I know that she doesn't. So we are now going to be reading
Magic Hour.
Magic Hour.
Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. Get your copy. Let's get started on it.
Heck yes. And then we have some fun. This is going to be a different episode.
It's different, you guys. It's spooky scary.
Spooky scary. No advice to be given necessarily, except for maybe how to
avoid
scary things. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know how to do that. Yeah,
no advice. We're just going to read you some scary stories that we've come across.
Yes, we are. And hopefully people have sent in some stuff that we're going to read.
Yes. Yep. So what do you think? Do you want to go first?
You have some already up, right?
I do.
Why don't you go first?
These are from Anonymous. We'll just go back and forth. So
yeah.
This is called She Nearly Died in an Elevator. I heard this when I was in Korea. One day a girl was walking home late night after work or something. It was dark and around midnight. She lived in an apartment where they had an elevator. She got into the elevator, and when the door was about to close, a strange man with a red hoodie entered the elevator. He apologized for scaring her and asked which floor she is heading to, without making eye contact. She told him out of fear, and the man casually pressed the button and the one below. As they were on the way, he asked for her cell phone and asked if he could use it, but she declined out of suspiciousness and isolated herself in the corner. After seconds of silence, the elevator arrived to the floor below the one the girl was heading to, and the door opened. The guy slowly walked out of the door and turned around, facing toward the elevator and the girl, and just stared at her without any movement. Slowly, the door started to close, and from the gap, she could see him turning around, head for up the stairs, pulling a knife out of his pocket.
That made my heart start beating fast. No.
So, you are now in an elevator with a man walking up the stairs with a knife. That's all.
No. No. And that's what's scary is that, this isn't, a ghost story. You know, this is something...
real.
That's... could potentially be real, and that's what's so much more frightening. I don't know what I would do.
No.
Ooh. Usually I have pepper spray on me, so at least I would try to do that.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Or my stainless steel water bottle to smash him in the head.
Both. Yeah, both are getting pulled out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, ready for this?
Yeah.
When my sister Betsy and I were kids, our family lived for a while in a charming old farmhouse. We loved exploring its dusty corners and climbing the apple tree in the backyard. But our favorite thing was the ghost. We called her Mother because she seemed so kind and nurturing. Some mornings, Betsy and I would wake up and on each other's nightstands we'd find a cup that hadn't been there the night before. Mother had left them there, worried that we'd get thirsty during the night. She just wanted to take care of us. Among the house's original furnishings was an antique wooden chair, which we kept against the back wall of the living room.
Oh my God.
Whenever we were preoccupied watching TV or playing a game, Mother would inch that chair forward, across the room, towards us. Sometimes she'd manage to move it all the way to the center of the room. We always felt sad putting it back against the wall. Mother just wanted to be near us. Years later, long after we'd moved out, I found an old newspaper article about the farmhouse's original occupant, a widow. She murdered her 2 children by giving them each a cup of poisoned milk before bed. Then she hanged herself. The article included a photo of the farmhouse living room, with a woman's body hanging from a beam. Beneath her, knocked over, was that old wooden chair, placed exactly in the center of the room.
Oh my God.
So I had to read about a chair because you talked about how there was a chair in your parents' house.
So funny. I think I had a story. Is this the one? Maybe it's the other one. It has something to do with you. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Okay.
I was cracking. I was reading it to my sister Natalie, and I was just like, or telling her about it. I didn't read it to her yet because I wanted her to hear it on the air. But I was like, I found something about a chair and I have to read it for Demi. I was like, I kind of want to find everything about chairs. But I didn't. I only found this one.
Only chair murders.
Yeah.
Okay. My second one is called Not Alone in Bed. A few weeks ago, my girlfriend and I were sleeping together when I woke up to her saying, "What are you doing?" She sometimes talks in her sleep, but this sounded so coherent and urgent that it jolted me awake, and I asked what she was talking about. She then woke up and said she thought she saw someone at the end of the bed. Thinking it was just a dream or semi-awake hallucination, we thought nothing of it and went back to sleep. About an hour later, I woke up and saw someone standing on the bed with sheets wrapped up and twisted to their neck. I didn't know what to do, but the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "What are you doing?" My girlfriend then woke me up. I had been dreaming the exact same thing she did and said the exact same thing.
But nope.
Scary.
No. No, thank you. Okay, this one is called I Hate It When My Brother Charlie Has to Go Away.
Oh my god, Charlie St. Cloud.
Zac
Efron?
Zac Efron? Ooh, Zac. I hate it when my brother Charlie has to go away. My parents constantly try to explain to me how sick he is. That I am lucky for having a brain where all the chemicals flow properly to their destinations like undammed rivers. When I complain about how bored I am without a little brother to play with, they try to make me feel better. They try to make me feel bad by pointing out that his boredom likely far surpasses mine, considering he's confined to a dark room in an institution. I always beg for them to give him one last chance. Of course, they did at first. Charlie has been back home several times, each shorter in duration than the last. Every time, without fail, it all starts again. The neighborhood cats with gouged out eyes showing up in his toy chest. My dad's razors found dropped on the baby slide in the park across the street. My mom's vitamins replaced by bits of dishwasher tablets. My parents are hesitant now, using last chances sparingly. They say his disorder makes him charming, makes it easy for him to fake normalcy, and to trick the doctors who care for him into thinking he is ready for rehabilitation. That I will just have to put up with my boredom if it means staying safe from him. I hate it when Charlie has to go away. It makes me have to pretend to be good until he gets back.
I knew it.
Have you heard that one before?
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't heard that one. I'm sorry, but I just
you knew it had
saw
to be
it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it coming. I love plot
saw it
twists.
in my eyes. The two that I'm reading is it's from a website called scoopwhoop.com. Don't know what. 30 very short tales of horror that are better than most scary movies you've watched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, this one, my last one, is called The Little Hands.
Mm-hmm.
I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a man and his family. One night, one of his daughters went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She had passed away from an aneurysm. Mm. After the funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on the pets. My mom and dad, they were dating then, went with my uncle. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it, and my dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush against her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing and she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs and grab them tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and my father, and waited for them. When they all walked outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what had happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who died used to play a game with her father. When he'd play the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals.
Scary. Spooky scary.
I know.
Oh man.
I know. I don't like touches. Don't touch me.
Don't touch. Mm-mm. Consent.
Ghost consent. Yep.
And now we have a recording from somebody we met at a bar, and she's going to tell her own story.
This is Cassandra, aka Cassie. What's your story, lady?
Oh my gosh.
It does not have to be serious.
So I was in junior high with my best friend, and I was living at her house because our floors were being redone or something. And we were walking to school, and there's this old abandoned, like, really scary house that was, like, in the almond orchards, so it was really hidden. And
Almond orchard.
oh yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere.
Where?
Arbuckle?
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Yeah. It's north.
It's north on 5. Okay.
It's literally you blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Rice,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
cows, goats,
Important things.
the thing.
Yeah.
And so we were walking to school, and we kind of noticed it, and we're like, ooh, that would be fun to go to. I don't know.
Yes.
We're dumb. We're junior high.
I would do that. I would go there in a second.
So on the way home from school, because we obviously weren't going to skip school to do it, because we were goody two shoes, so, you know. So we came back, we kind of walked around the property a little, and next thing I know, my friend stops dead cold. She turns completely stark white, and she just doesn't move, or like, she kind of like looks like she stopped breathing, and I'm like, oh my God. So I grab her, I'm like, we're out of here. We sprint to her house, which is like 3 blocks away, and I'm like, what did you see? And she wouldn't speak for about like an hour. She just was shaking, and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell did you just see? And she's like, I don't know, but it had a really bad vibe, and I kind of felt like it was threatening me, and she's like, we're never going back there again. And I'm like, okay.
So you didn't actually go in the house?
Oh no, there was this big
Outside?
picture window that they didn't have any glass. It was like run down, like they condemned it about probably 2 years later, and we were just staring into the window, and she was freaked out, and I was like, we're out, I'm done.
And her whole body changed.
Yeah, like you could visibly see the blood drain out of her face, and I'm like, oh my God, this has never happened
And
before.
how old were you?
Probably 8th grade, so
Like 13 or
yeah.
Oh my God.
I've never ran so fast in my entire life, because that's how scared she made me by the look on her face.
I just, and the fact that the picture window had no glasses, she looked at it and like went, oh, stop.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's in one arm. I don't know why. Oh my, that's a great story.
Yes, so happy Halloween, friends.
Happy Halloween.
Demi, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Oh, right. I am going to be Frau Farvisina from Austin Powers, because we're all dressing up as the gang from Austin Powers. She's
Which
the one that goes, send in the gloves.
Oh, yes, yes. So doesn't she have a unibrow? Or no, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
That is hilarious. So who's going to be everybody?
So my brother's going to be Austin Powers.
Hilarious.
My Sam
Yeah.
is going to be Foxy Cleopatra.
Love it.
Guess who Brett is going to be?
Fat bastard.
No.
Mini-me?
Think of Brett.
Seth Green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty, don't!
Scotty. I love Seth Green's character. Seth Green is a great actor,
I know.
by the way.
I
He truly is.
love Seth Green.
Damn it, I wanted him to be a fat bastard.
I know.
So I was planning on being the Goldbergs, but Shiloh thought that was boring, which, yeah, because it's like easy khaki. He also just has to get khakis and a button-up t-shirt
Right.
or whatever. But instead, we're going to be Bob's Burgers, yes. Bob and Linda Belcher.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's going to be fun.
I love it so much.
So look out for those pictures we're going to post.
Oh, yeah.
I love that you guys are doing Austin Powers. That is so random, too.
I know.
Like, what made you think Austin Powers hasn't been around?
Alex and Sam thought of it.
Got it.
Yeah. New tradition.
I love it. Yeah, you guys have to
Gotta
keep doing
keep
that.
tradition alive, baby.
Yeah, right. That's so true. Oh my gosh. So I've been telling my sister Natalie this forever, and even my sister Jen, because now she has a kid too. I want a family to go dress as pumpkins and be a pumpkin patch so bad. I want somebody.
Cute idea.
Thank you. Nobody's willing to do it. Now my sister Natalie has 3 kids and a dog. So her whole family could be a huge, massive pumpkin
And the
patch.
parents could be scarecrows
That's a cute idea.
in the pumpkin patch.
Dude, you just took it up a whole notch, a whole new level. So please, since my family will not do it, I don't have animals or kids, so I can't be a lone pumpkin in a pumpkin patch.
You guys could be a pumpkin patch.
It's not the same. You have to have like the numbers, you know.
That's true.
So please,
And you
somebody
guys
out
could
there
like
do
tie
it.
each other with like
Right.
twine
Exactly.
for the green. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cute.
That's exactly right. So I'm hoping that somebody will do it for me, just so I can see it done. You know,
Totally.
because I have
Totally.
had this idea for years,
I
for
like
5
it.
years. I thought of this when my sister had her first. I was like, please just do it. And now that she has so many, you know, somebody out there do it.
Yeah.
So please come and read Magic Hour by Chris and Hannah with us.
Mhm.
We are going to be reading too.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh, I
I guess
should
that.
say
I
that.
guess we should point that out. And also, I will be
Chapters.
reading from a Kindle.
Right.
So I will tell you if you are also reading on the Kindle, or from what I use is Apple Books. I don't know if that's different from.
We're just going to read the chapters anyway, so no matter what,
Right,
just read
yeah,
to chapter
okay.
7.
Okay.
Yeah, chapter 7.
Reading to chapter 7.
Yeah, for a book it's to page 100, but it doesn't matter, just read to chapter 7.
Right.
That is Kristen Hannah Magic Hour.
And we will post it on all the social medias.
Yeah, we will.
If you have any questions or things you'd like to add in or things we missed, please let us know. I'm so sorry, I just spit.
I didn't even see it.
Whoa.
Totally fine. Also, any retroactive scary stories, I will still be reading them.
Oh,
That's
totally.
fine.
Please. We
Mhm.
love them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know.
We can be found on Instagram at Can I Just Say One Thing?
Mm-hmm.
And our Gmail is Can I Just Say One Thing at Gmail, but the 1 is the number 1.
Number 1.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a great week.
Bye.
Goodbye.